gmail.com. All right, it's time for The Friction Factor. Greg, The Friction Factor is a new book by Tyler Martin, The Busy Person's Guide to Sustainable Diet and Exercise. Tyler is a certified personal trainer, former high school wrestling coach, and collegiate-level athlete. He's here to share his approach to getting and staying in great shape. Good morning, Tyler. How are you today?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We are excited and ready to hear what you've got for us this morning. Talk a little bit about maybe your fitness journey in a sense. You were an athlete where you kind of have a certain regimen, you get in shape. Sort of when you retire from that, how do you keep that sort of same stamina and exercise going when your life starts happening to you?
Yes, that is a great question. So that's actually what got me started on this journey myself. So this all started for me about 12 years ago when I first graduated from college, and all of a sudden I was working a full-time job and I was trying to run a side business and had a lot going on. And as an ex-athlete, my expectation in the beginning was, hey, I know how to do this fitness stuff. I'm going to be able to keep myself in good shape for the rest of my life, no problem. And I quickly learned that this was completely wrong. The conventional approach to exercising and dieting that I learned as a collegiate athlete and practiced and coached other people on for several years didn't translate over into a busy person's working lifestyle. And so I needed a better solution. I needed something that was tailor-made for someone who lives a busy working life, and there just wasn't a great solution out there. So that's when I really dug in and started researching and trying things and learning as much as I could until I was eventually able to piece together an integrated system that I think tackles the problem really well and can work for anybody that lives a busy lifestyle.
Tyler, can you give us one example of something maybe out of the ordinary or something that wasn't part of everyday regimens in the past?
I think that when it comes to what people can be doing that is unique, what I'm showing people how to do, it's all about this concept called friction. And so what I'm referring to when I talk about friction is the inefficient use of time and energy within a diet or an exercise process. So it's anything that makes exercising or dieting take longer than it needs to take in order to get the desired outcome. So think about things like making the trip to drive to the gym or waiting in line to use a piece of equipment. These are all things that add steps to the process, make it take longer, but they don't necessarily help you, achieve the end result. So when it comes to recommendations, like you just asked, I think the top thing that people can do from an exercise perspective is find a way to exercise at home in short increments on a daily basis, because this is going to help aid you in developing a sustainable habit. And even if it's just 5 minutes of exercise that you can do every day, you're going to be better off from that perspective in the long run, because you're going to be more willing to go back and revisit that commitment and hopefully increase it once things start to become habitualized and start to feel more automatic.
One of the things related to that, which I find maybe different from what we heard, you say you avoid exercising with a partner or in a group. Kind of explain the reason behind that.
Sure, yeah, and I'll say up front, there can be some benefits to exercising with a group or with a partner, right? Like you can get some extra motivation from it, and there may even be some exercises that you can do with a partner that you can't do by yourself. But my perspective on this is, if you live a busy lifestyle and you're serious about making exercise a part of your day-to-day routine for the rest of your life, you want to align yourself with the method of exercise that's going to be most available to you. And the problem when you bring other people into the equation is that now all of a sudden your ability to exercise is contingent on other people's schedules and availability and priorities. And so you can get in a good rhythm for a while with somebody, but something will always change. Someone will move, somebody will have a baby, somebody will get a new job or take on a new project at work, and now your ability to maintain your habit is in a hard place. So ultimately, I think in the long run, you're better learning to exercise on your own, at least to get your basic day-to-day exercise, to get the health benefits from that. If you'd like to participate in group activities for fun or for extra, that's fantastic. But I think your core day-to-day exercise habit, you want to be able to do that individually.
The Friction Factor is the name of the book, The Busy Person's Guide to Sustainable Diet and Exercise. We're talking with Tyler Martin this morning. You have it broken down in your book to 4 parts. And the first one, winning the psychological game. Talking to our brain about our body, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned a minute ago the word habit, and maybe we can dig into that because that's really what the psychological game is all about. I spend a fair bit of time in the book talking about motivation, and that's typically the conversation people have when they're talking about the psychological angle of exercise. Is how do I get myself more motivated? How do I, drum up the motivation to get out of bed and get myself to the gym? And it's important to have a source of motivation, but ultimately I think what really stops people is the friction, is these processes that they're trying to go through are so difficult, or they require so much bandwidth that it doesn't fit into my day. And so what you can leverage is the power of habit. If you can turn the right behavior patterns into habits, then things get easier. So if you can be consistent with a behavior for about a 66-day period, that's the average that the research shows that it takes. That's the length of time that it takes to form a new behavior pattern. And that's when things start to feel easier. They start to feel routine. You're not having to think through every individual step of the process. You want to get to a place where it feels like exercise and dieting is on autopilot. You want it to feel like you're brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You just intuitively know the steps and you're going through the motions. And if you can reach that point, you're going to be much more likely to stick with these things on a long-term basis.
You also have in part 2 about know your body and set your goals. How do you set that up? What do we understand about our body? Maybe we get to a doctor and get to maybe a physical just to know that aspect of it. But what else do we need to do?
Yeah, well, you nailed it. You nailed it there. I mean, you need to start wherever you are from a physical perspective. So first, you need to understand, are there limitations for me as an individual based on medical conditions or things like that? But once you kind of get a clean bill of health that you can participate in general, health and exercise type activities, it really has to do with, setting your expectations of what's going to be realistic. And what I tend to see with people is they get really wrapped around the axle in the beginning on how much weight am I losing, or is my body fat percentage going down, or am I getting stronger? And what I tell people to do in the beginning is these things will all happen. And if you can build habits, they'll happen and you'll be able to sustain them. But it's really important to focus on procedural goals in the beginning. So I recommend that people start a checklist. Did I stick to my exercise commitment today? Did I stick to my diet commitment today? And if you can keep that up for that 66-day period, things are going to start to feel easier. And then you can kind of pivot and start to pay more attention to the physical aspect of what the results you're trying to reach. Now, I would say if folks want to go to my website, it's frictionfactorfitness.com. I have a nutrition and fitness calculator there where they can plug in some of their goals and some information about where they are, and it will generate for you some actual physical targets in terms of weight loss and nutrition that can be helpful.
What kind of exercise should we do? You have a section, nuts and bolts of exercise. I guess set those up, or what's your favorite, or what do you recommend, or what is the new science telling us?
Yeah, well, my whole angle on this, again, is to cater to the busy person. So if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck out of your time, what I recommend is a style of exercise that's sometimes called interval or circuit training. So this is a type of workout that combines both strength training exercises. So think like push-ups and leg squats and a pressing motion like a bench press. There's lots of options, but strength training exercises with cardiovascular exercise. So anything that gets the heart rate elevated and maintained at a moderate pace. You want to combine these types of exercises into short bouts that you're alternating between within the same workout session. And the benefit here is that you get both types of exercise, but you actually cut the total amount of time you need to spend exercising every week in half, and you still meet the activity guidelines set by the American Heart Association and the general standards for Americans that are in our activity guidelines. So this is, I think, the most time-efficient way that a busy person can have success.
You're busy talking to us on the phone. What kind of exercises have you done today yet, or what is your plan for today? If I could poke into your routine.
Hey, I'm a big fan of the early morning workout. I think I like to get it in before the world wakes up and things start to happen. So today was back day, so I alternated between doing some deadlifts and some pull downs, and spent a little time on my stationary bike in the basement. So 20 minutes and I'm done for the day. Wow.
What does that do you for your rest of the day? I mean, what kind of mood does that set you in? How do you feel like that? Is it always the same result, or does it depend on, how your exercising went that morning?
I love to get started in the morning. Now, there's some variability here in what is allowable in people's schedules and so forth, but I think that you do get a bit of a confidence boost in the morning, just, having this feeling that, hey, I have this goal that I want to take care of myself, and I've taken some positive steps before anything else happened today to make my life better. So it does give me a boost of confidence, even if it's just psychological. And then there's some physical benefits too. It helps get you going. It increases your circulation. It can be a mood booster. It helps with cognitive functions of things like memory and recall. So there's some real physical benefits that can come with short daily bouts of exercise that can keep you feeling good all day long.
The Friction Factor, the Busy Person's Guide to Sustainable Diet and Exercise. We didn't even touch on the diet aspect, but that's there as well, because that's always an important part of this entire process of being able to, be in better shape, lose weight, and just feel better doing the exercises. Tyler, we appreciate your time this morning. Again, if people want to find out more about you and the Friction Factor is Friction Factor Fitness. Was that correct?
Yep, frictionfactorfitness.com. We've got info there on how to buy the book, and you can sign up for my newsletter to find out about when I release new podcasts and articles.
Sounds good. Appreciate your time this morning, Tyler. Thanks for sharing with us today.